I'm Rudolph. I hope you don't mind my red nose.
Not if you don't mind me being a dentist.
Whatever that is, I don't mind.
The abominable, he must see your nose. Quick, douse the light.
Oh no!
What if I told you that the best opportunity to buy a home in Charleston might just be when everyone's telling you it's the worst time to buy? Stick around with me for the next few minutes and we'll review why winter might be the best time for you to make your next move in Charleston. So I'm sure you've heard it before. Thanksgiving rolls around, everyone starts pulling their homes off the market. Both buyers and sellers kind of come to this understanding that, hey, let's take it easy during the holidays. It's a bad time to buy. It's a bad time to sell. Inventory goes down. But what if this is actually the environment that makes it the best time for you to buy? That is, if you're looking to pick up a bargain on your next property in Charleston. Before we go on though, I want you to like and subscribe if you want to keep seeing this sexy mug in your YouTube feed.
What do you think? Nice. Jesus.
Additionally, there's some information there on how we can help you find some off-market homes. And this is what I want to talk to you about. Stick around to the very end because we're going to show some strategies that we use in the winter months, especially when there's low inventory, to help you find your ideal bargain. So let me walk you through the sales cycle that we see here in Charleston year after year. Pretty much starts at Thanksgiving. People start taking their homes off the market. It's a bad time to show houses. I've got family in town. And then the buyers are like, oh, I don't feel like doing that. I got to go up to Boston, visit relatives for the new year. And, we're just going to pick up next year. So what happens then is people start pulling the homes off the market and the activity actually starts slowing down. And then after the holidays, especially after January 15th, people start coming back from vacation and the buyers start jumping back into the market. In February, especially if it starts getting warm out, there are a lot of buyers out looking, and what ends up happening is the inventory of homes is very low. And especially in the higher luxury markets, there's a little bit of anxiety that's caused, and the buyers were like, they're saying to themselves, there's just not much for me to choose from. And then they start frantically putting in offers, especially as new, nicely presented homes hit the market. And then this starts getting a foundation of pricing again, and prices will come back up. In the winter, it's not uncommon for those prices to dip 1 or 2%. Then they'll find their foothold late January, early February. And then in February, March, and April, it is not uncommon for us to see a 3 to 5% pop in prices like that. And I want you to wrap your head around this. By May, you could be talking a 7% differential in price. 2% negative in January or December, 5% positive at the end of May. It doesn't sound like a lot. Now multiply that 7% on a $3 million property. You're talking 200 some grand. So as the inventory increases in the spring, more sellers are realizing, hey, I can put my home on the market. More buyers are jumping in. And then what ends up happening is towards summer, especially late summers, more sellers are putting their home on the market. They're like, oh, all these homes are selling. But the buyer demand starts dropping, especially those buyers that wanted to be in possibly by the school year. They really needed to close and be under contract no later than August 1st. So that buyer demand will start coming down. And then we really will see an inventory spike in August, September, October, and November. Usually October, November is when it peaks. Then the cycle starts again. People start taking their home off the market. So if you're a savvy buyer and you have the luxury of being able to time when you want to get into the market, you can take advantage of this sales cycle. Here are some of the hard points about doing this, however. And this is why a lot of buyers don't buy. The inventory can be very, very limited. And what do I mean by that? That nice home that you saw might no longer be on the market. This is the golden nugget that I want to share with you. When you're looking in December and January, we will reach out to the homes that are temporarily off the market or show as canceled. We'll reach back out to those agents or sometimes directly to the seller if the listing was canceled and see like, hey, are you still open to showing your house? Can't guarantee, but we have someone who might possibly be interested in your home. And we've been very successful. And those sellers really appreciate having a buyer in place before the spring market. And oftentimes those sellers will allow you to close 3-4 months in the future when they're not on the market. So that is one thing we do. We reach out to the past temporarily off the market or canceled listings. Another thing that we do is that let's say you're looking at Isle Palms or in Old Mount Pleasant, we have our database of sellers who said, I might be open to offers. We'll reach back out to those or even do new direct mail or telemarketing campaigns in those areas when we have a buyer looking for a specific property, let's say in Old Mount Pleasant or on Folly Beach, Sullivan's Island, Isle of Palms, South of Broad, kind of like the higher luxury areas. We've been very successful and kind of like the old-fashioned, imagine going back to 1945 when a realtor would call you and say, hey, Mr. Smith, I have someone that is in town and just wondering if you'd be open to selling your house. That is how real estate used to work before the MLS and the internet. So we'll use a combination of what's the limited inventory that's online. We'll also reach out to past, temporarily off the market or cancel listings, and we'll reach out to our database of off-market people who have told us before they're open to offers, and even start looking to see if we can find new people in those condominium subdivisions or specific neighborhoods where you might be possibly looking. Here are some downsides. You have to be careful. Some of the people are very desperate to sell in the winter. Now, there might be a negative reason. Maybe there's something wrong with the house. Maybe there's just something that is peculiar about the house that made it hard to sell. So just because someone is desperate, you need to have your radar up and be looking for some red flags. However, that does create great opportunities. Let's say someone needed to be in a home that was supposed to close in December and their contract was canceled. Now they're back on the market. They might be desperate and they might be a lot more flexible on price now that we're in the slower season, and you can take advantage of that. So I just want to end it with this. If you're looking to buy real estate and you're open to the possibility of not closing in the winter, but finding your home in the winter, this is an amazing opportunity to buy that, especially if you're looking 1, 2, 3 million, could save you not but hundreds of thousands of dollars. We've seen it happen. We know most of our buyers, they're not in the position to do that. But if you are one of those buyers, especially if you're an investor and you're not as time sensitive, I really encourage you to get in touch with me or one of our agents to explore that possibility. Well, be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on St. Germain Properties.